والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Alhamdulillah, tonight we have with us our guest speaker, Sheikh Jamal, who's come from London to be with us. MashaAllah, Sheikh Jamal is a Hafiz of the Quran, and he also has Ijaza in the 10 Qira'at, and a student of the Sheikh, famous Qari, Sheikh ABDUNASSIR al-Sufi. So the lecture that the Sheikh will be delivering on is on the power and miraculous nature of the Quran. Before we begin, can I just ask the brothers and sisters to please make sure the mobile phone is silent. Also, from the etiquettes of seeking knowledge that we learn from the Sahaba is that we sit close together. Whenever we attend any religious gathering, any circle of knowledge, any Islamic lecture, when we attend, we sit close together, not scattered around, and try to fill in the gaps, inshallah. And at the end, if you would like to watch the lecture, once it's available on YouTube, you can scan the QR code on that wall there to join the mailing list of the YouTube channel, and you get a notification once the lecture is ready, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. So we've been asked to speak about the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran al-Kareem, the final revelation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed to all of mankind. And it's very important for the Muslim to know, before we get started into the lecture, where he or she stands from the book of Allah. How much do I know from the Quran? I know it's Allah's words. I know this book is Allah's words. But how much do I actually know? If I were to be made to stand where I'm sitting, you sit over here, you stand over here, and you are delivering the lecture, how much can you speak about? You see, the Quran is not a study or a specific science that's only for people of knowledge to know about. Rather, it's a book for all of the Muslims, and thus all of the Muslims should know about it. Right or wrong?
Right.
And if we don't know enough, no problem. Everybody starts from somewhere. But the main thing is for us to acknowledge this. Because when you acknowledge, then you will learn, inshaAllah ta'ala. It's not about not knowing, it's about acknowledging that we need to know. And so acknowledging that we need to give this importance. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from the people who read the Quran its due importance. So the lecture has been entitled The Miracle of the Quran, or the Miracles of the Quran. So that's the main thing we're going to be discussing today, inshallah. How the Quran is actually a miracle. So to begin with, we have the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. ما من الأنبياء نبي إلا وأعطي من الآيات ما مثله آمن عليه البشر وإنما كان الذي أوتيته وحيا أوحاه الله إلي فأرجو أن أكون أكثرهم تابعا يوم القيامة. There is no prophet that Allah ever sent to this world except Allah gave with that prophet ayat, mu'jizat. Allah gave him miracles and signs to prove he's a prophet. Now we know in our times the last prophet was Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we know it's impossible for a prophet to come now. Do we agree?
Yeah.
But before our prophet, we know that Allah was still sending prophets and messengers. So if someone would just come out of nowhere and say, I'm a prophet, how can we believe you? The Prophet ﷺ said, in order for us to know that they're actually a prophet, Allah will send with that person ayat to prove it. If you're a prophet, prove it. If they prove it, then they are a prophet. If they can't prove it, then they are from the false prophets, and a lot of them emerged, even after the time of the Prophet. So every single prophet was given a miracle to prove his prophecy. Some of them were given more than one. Most of them, all of them, they were given more than one. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was given many miracles. To make this interactive, I'd like to ask you, someone tell me a miracle that our Prophet was given, except for the Quran. Because I'm going to talk about it.
Yes. And the moon.
Split the moon. اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر. There's a surah that begins with this very fact. The hour is drawing near, and the moon has already been split. SubhanAllah. This is a long time ago. When this happened, 1400 years ago. But Allah said, through that, the sign of the end of times is drawing nearer. So well done, mashallah. Anyone else? No. The water from the eyes of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anyone else? Especially the younger brothers that are very smart. You guys have nothing more left. I'm trying to get the children to speak. You guys don't remember anymore? Okay, how about you give me a miracle of another prophet? Okay?
When the Prophet Al-Musa and he split and the sea.
When the Prophet Musa, he
Split and the sea.
the sea split. Okay. Do you know how many parts it's split into?
2.
A lot of people say 2. 12. The Mufassirin, they say it is 12. And the Quran actually mentions this as well. And it was for every single tribe on the people of Musa alayhi salam. So it was in 12. Just to keep speaking with you, mashallah, because you're very, very confident. You know what sea it was?
Was it? And the Black Sea.
The Black Sea?
Red Sea. Oh no.
It wasn't
The Red Sea.
The Red Sea. Any other prophet? Any other miracle? Yeah.
Prophet Isa alayhi salam brought dead animals back to life.
Prophet Isa alayhi salam would bring back people from the dead with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyone else? Oh, now everybody's speaking. Yes.
Prophet Isa had the miracle that he could speak when he was a baby.
MashaAllah, he could speak when he was a baby. Prophet Isa, correct? That's in the Quran as well. Anyone else? Yes.
When Musa threw his stick and became a snake.
When Musa threw his staff or his stick and it became into a serpent, snake. Now, the Prophet Sulaiman controlling the wind. See, I told you he was smart. I told you. He could control the wind. And he had like a carpet that he could move from one place to another. Sulaiman alayhi salam. Anyone else? Any other prophet? Yeah.
And when Prophet Ibrahim got sent to the fire, but he didn't feel any pain in the fire.
Good, good. So we're getting a lot of, mashallah. Anything else? The Prophet Ibrahim, he said when he was thrown into the fire and he didn't feel anything, that's what he said.
Yusuf alayhi salam interpreting dreams.
Yusuf alayhi salam interpreting dreams. Okay.
The Prophet cooking the Khandaq,
Yeah, the Battle of Khandaq.
the Qahar,
Yeah.
food that just kept on coming and kept on coming.
Yeah, Sahih. The food continued and it didn't stop. Anyone else? Yeah.
When Musa got his hand out of his pocket, it was white.
Yes, correct. That's in the Quran. Yeah.
And then she commented Prophet Salih alayhi salam.
Salih, Shikam, mashallah. So you know a lot about Qisas al-Nabi. Okay, the Prophet I haven't had. So we've had Musa, we've had the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we've had the Prophet Isa, we had the Prophet Sulaiman,
Oh.
we had Yusuf.
How Yunus survived on the way.
Yunus, okay.
And the Prophet Jamal.
Yeah, I was looking for Dawood. What about Dawood?
And he could bend and steer. I
He
mean,
could
sword
bend
body.
still. Correct. What else? Anything else about Dawood?
Or the and
What about when he would make the speech? What would happen?
and animals and they will join in
The animals,
and they will join in with him.
they would join in with him. And what else? The mountains. Ya Jibalu awwibi ma'ahu wa tayr. And the birds, they will say Subhanallah. And imagine, the birds will say Subhanallah outside. They will say Subhanallah. And the mountain, imagine. Subhanallah can make anything speak if he wants. Imagine, he says Subhanallah, the mountain says Subhanallah. He says Subhanallah, the bird says Subhanallah. Ajib. And this is a miracle. So now if Dawood says I'm a prophet, and you just saw the mountain say what he says, you're going to believe him, aren't you? You're going to have to believe him. When you see Isa alayhi salam bringing someone back from the dead, and he's like, you're going to have to believe him. And so on and so forth. So every single prophet was given this miracle. And the main miracle that our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was given, that stands out from the rest, is the Quran. The first way it stands out from the rest is that all of the other miracles, they ended at their time. It's finished now. But the Quran, it outlived the Prophet ﷺ, it will outlive everybody, and it continues on, and we see it. We heard the Quran be recited. Imagine this salah that we just prayed now. Whose words were they? the words of Allah, revealed upon the Prophet ﷺ, but you're still reading it today. You're still pondering over it, understanding it, reflecting over it, understanding what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent out. So these are the miracles that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the prophets. So we want to stand over some of the miracles of the Quran and discuss them one by one. I want to discuss only maybe about 5, inshallah ta'ala, and that will be the end. The first one is the Quran has spoken about many things. Many things. And the Quran has made a lot of predictions. But there is a specific thing that the Quran spoke about. And the Quran has made a prediction. And the Quran has challenged, in the Sharia it's called tahaddi, challenged people. Okay, if the Quran is not true, prove the Quran wrong. And nobody was able to prove the Quran wrong. What is this prediction that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned? Something that Allah said, it will remain like this. This is now me giving it away, yes. Yes. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. Indeed, it is us who have revealed the Quran, Allah says, and we will protect it. This Quran, dear brothers and sisters, is protected from the first page to the last page, from Surah Al-Fatiha to Surah Al-Nas. Nobody can take anything away, nobody can add anything into it, nobody can move something from the right place to the wrong place and change it. No one can do this. Allah said, I revealed it and I will protect it. And there are many ayat in the Quran. These ayat are known as ayat al-tahaddi. Allah is challenging everybody. Sometimes Allah challenges people, bring 10 ayat, 10 surahs, bring a surah, bring 10 ayat, bring an ayat. Bring all of mankind, bring all of jinn kind, bring something like the Quran. Can you do it? You can't do it. Oh Arabs, you are Arabs, right? This is the challenge. All of the Arabs, you understand Alif, Ba, Ta, Ta, Ji. This is your language. Tell us what Alif, Lam, Mim means. No. Alif, Lam, Mim. If you go to the biggest scholar in the world today, what's Alif, Lam, Mim? They don't know what Alif, Lam, Mim is. What's Hamim? They don't know what Hamim is. What's Kaf, Ha, Ya, Ain, Sad? That's the first ayah of which surah?
Maryam.
These surah, there are 28 of them, or 29, I can't remember now. They begin with letters. The scholars of tafsir, they mention Allahu a'lamu bi muradihi. Only Allah knows the meaning. No Shaykh knows. You see now, this is to challenge them. If you think the Quran is not from Allah, and it's just a book that's in Arabic, this book is made up of your words. Tell us what this means. No, it doesn't. So the Quran style is very unique. From the ways that the Quran is styled is very unique is, the Quran has how many juz?
30.
30. How do they call juz in English?
Chapter.
That's not accurate. So one of the benefits you take from me today is, it's not accurate to call the Quran the juz chapter, and to call the ayah, for example, what do we call it in English, verse, right?
Yeah.
It's not accurate. I'll tell you why it's not accurate. Many reasons. If I pick up another book today, that's 30 chapters, and I just go straight to chapter 11, will I understand what's going on in the book?
No.
Because I haven't started from the
First chapter.
first one. But if I go to the Quran and I go to the 11th juz, can I understand it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. If I go to Surah Al-Kahf, today we read it, right? Friday. Do I need the rest of the Quran to make sense of Surah Al-Kahf? No. So, chapter doesn't really work, you see? That's just one benefit. I don't have a lot of time, but maybe another time we can come and give a seminar on this. So, a benefit here before I go back to what I'm discussing is, it's better for us to just refer to the Arabic terms. Surah, juz, ayah, and so on. It's better like this. So the Quran style is very unique. This is another way that's unique. Every part of the Quran, you benefit from it the way it is. You have long surahs, you have short surahs, you have surahs that seem like they're rhyming. And this is all showing you that there's nothing like this book that's ever been seen. So this is the first thing. The Quran now, because it has a unique style, Allah said that there's a prediction here. The Quran is predicted, the challenge is, nobody is going to be able to produce anything like this. People have tried, many people have tried, they weren't able to do it. There's a man from the past by the name of Yahya ibn Aktham. And he was living at a time of a general called Ma'mun. And there was a non-Muslim man. And they saw him after some time, he became Muslim. They said, how did he become Muslim? Why did he become Muslim? He said, I realized that the Quran is the words of Allah. How? He said, I picked up the Torah, I changed it, I gave it to the people, they accepted it, they didn't even realize I messed around with it. I picked up the New Testament, the Injil, I changed it, I gave it to the people, they didn't realize they accepted it. I picked up the Quran, I tried to change it, I went to the marketplace to sell it to the people. He said the average Muslim wants to beat me up. Because they can tell straight away you did something. Straight away. Because the brother said, hey, inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun. It's Allah that's protecting it. And by the way, the change he made was a little change. Not a big change, I mean. A big change is like 30 juz, we add 5 more. Everyone knows that. Everyone will be able to know that's not the Quran. The Quran has how many surahs?
With the 14.
Imagine he took out 14 and he made it 100. Just 100. All of you guys will say that is wrong, right?
Yeah.
So he did like a little change, he added a little thing, like one word or something somewhere. Somewhere he put it in. Straight away he put it in. This was a reason for people to come to Islam. So the Quran, the whole thing, the way it's been put together, it just shows that it can only come from the Creator. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the first one. So don't forget, I'm going to ask you these points later. The second one, it is that Allah has made the Quran easy to memorize. That's a miracle. People have memorized the Quran and only in numbers Allah knows. And in this point, we mentioned a few things. The first one, He didn't only allow people to memorize it, He made it easy to memorize. So it could have been something memorized by heart. He said, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ. We have made it easy to memorize. Number one. Number two within this point is, many of the people who memorized it, they don't speak Arabic as a first language. Including myself speaking to you. My first language is not Arabic, but I memorized the Quran. And many of you the same as well. So that's a miracle. Imagine now, how many pages is in the Quran? 600 pages?
604.
So if someone gave you a 600 plus page book in Chinese and they said memorize it. And if you memorize every page, we will give you £1,000 as well. So 600 times 1,000 is? So you're going to be a millionaire if you do it.
Yeah.
And this is the challenge we have today for the people on this world. We will bring you a book in Chinese. We'll send it here. The book's going to be 600 pages. You know the young brothers, if you want to do it, we'll get you the money some way, somehow. 600 pages. It's all in Chinese. You need to memorize it. We'll give you 6 months. 100 pages every month. When you finish, you can go away with all of that money. I'm not here to just make up a story and lie to you. I'm being serious. I know you won't be able to do it, that's why. It's impossible. Like later, you can sit down, I can test you anywhere in that 600 page Chinese book, and you're able to say, you forget. Even if you memorize it, you forget. But the Quran, there are people, if you ask them anywhere in the Quran, they read the whole Quran as if it's Surah Al-Fatiha. And they don't know. If you ask them, what does it na'am mean? What does it la mean? What does it kayfa haluka mean? Basic words in Arabic. If you don't know the Quran. So, this book, it's not a normal book. If it was just a normal book, then it would be difficult as well. It's easy. This is the second point. How is this a miracle? Just to further elaborate. When you look at people from other religions and you look at their books, you don't find them memorizing anything. Our miracle is we have millions of people memorizing it. Their miracle is the day they find one person, we found someone who memorized our book, it becomes a miracle. One person for them is a miracle. For us, it's standard. Millions, young children, they come to madrasa all over the globe. Even in the UK, children memorize the Quran. By 10 they memorize it. By 8 they memorize the Quran. That's a ni'mah. Let us say from the bottom of our hearts, all of us, alhamdulillah. And even if you're not all huffaz, you all memorize the Quran, parts of it. You all memorize the greatest surah of the Quran. What surah is that? Surah Al-Fatiha. The greatest surah of the Quran is Surah Al-Fatiha. You memorize Surah Al-Ikhlas, like the brother said, it's equivalent to a third of the Quran. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّهَا تَعْمِلُ ثُلُثَ الْقُرْآنِ. If you read Surah Al-Ikhlas 3 times, a number of the ulama, they say you get the reward as if you read the whole Quran. It's not the whole Quran, but it's as if you got that reward. You guys memorize Surah Al-Ikhlas. The greatest ayah in the Quran is Ayatul Kursi. You guys all memorize Ayatul Kursi. So you have memorized the Quran. You are carrying with you a miracle. You memorize it, it's in your heart. And this is the second one. The third one. It is that the Quran, it is very relevant. Whatever the Quran speaks about is relevant to every single time. Imagine the Quran was revealed 1400 years ago, but until today we're using it, we're benefiting from it. Allah says, anything that you differ with the people with, return it back to the Quran. In any time you're living. Anytime you're living, فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ وَمَا اخْتَلَفْتُمْ فِيهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ فَحُكْمُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ. Anything that you have a difference of opinion with regards to two people, they're different. I don't think this is halal. I think this is haram. I think this is not allowed. How can we know who's right? Go back to the Quran. Because Allah spoke about everything in the Quran. He says, مَا فَرَّطْنَا فِي الْكِتَابِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. We have not left anything outside of this Quran. Everything is in the Quran. Sometimes it's not clear. Sometimes it needs the scholars to tell us. Someone may say, okay, tell me where it says in the Quran that if you smoke certain drug, what's the example of a drug? Weed. Tell me an ayah in the Quran where it says weed is haram. Where did Allah say it? Okay, so firstly, before let's back up. Is weed haram or halal?
Haram.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Anyone think it's halal? Okay, someone will come to you now and they say, well, it's not in the Quran. If you're saying that it has to be in the Quran, I'm saying it's not in the Quran. So the second question is, do we agree? There's not an ayah that says weed is haram. Do we agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you guys need to know about how the Quran is a miracle. If someone asks you in your school tomorrow that you're saying weed is haram, and you're also saying there's no ayah that says weed is haram, so tell me, O Muslim, how weed is haram? That's a good question. They may ask you, what are you guys going to say? Yeah.
Like say that every intoxicant is haram.
Allah, you guys are very impressive, mashallah.
لا تقربوا بأنفسكم بالتوبة.
That's الدليل الآخر. So the brother is saying intoxicants are haram. That's in the Quran. Intoxicant is everything that intoxicates. This thing intoxicates. It damages your mind, it damages your body, it damages your life. It comes under that. And this brother mentioned another evidence, which is do not ruin your bodies, do not ruin your lives with your hands. That's another evidence. So these are evidences that you. So but who's able to tell us is people who are people of knowledge. But the Quran spoke about every single thing. And when COVID happened a few years ago, the Quran did not speak about COVID-19 or Corona. But the scholars got all of the evidences that they needed to teach us about this issue from the Quran. Because it spoke about things like it. And also the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So this is the third point, that the Quran is extremely relevant. It's relevant to everybody and it's relevant in every single time. And it's a book that can be used by every single. وَلِذَلِكَ Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, he says that from the rights that the Quran has upon us is that we use it to judge between ourselves. Within our families, within our governments, within our masajid, within the courts, within people, everywhere, any place, use the Quran. You don't use man-made laws, use the Quran. Use Allah's law subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is number 3.